Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, as it should. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend. Missed you guys this weekend. And I didn't get a chance to say this, but I'm going to say it now. Happy belated Mother's Day to every single mother out there. Okay, even you stepmamas out there, and even you fellas out there that actually wear the mama's hat too. Shout out to them as well. All y'all that put on the mama's hat. Okay, real talk. You're still a mama out here. And for those of y'all, let me just say this: without you bringing us into the world, all of us on this planet, there would not be an earth. There would not be a human. There would not be human beings on this planet. All right, let's keep it a buck. So thank you guys for being who you are. Keep mommying out there, all right? Because without you, the world does not go round. Again, the world does not go round without you in it. So thank you, all right? But we got some updates in this particular case. We got a lot of updates. So it's going to be kind of a smattering of different things in regards to this case, because I've been out for the past 3 days. So I'm going to try to do as much coverage as I can in regards to this case in a very short amount of time. But we're here to conversate, talk about things. I got some updates for you guys in regards to tonight. We got something going on tonight. So be on the lookout or keep your ears open for that update and all that as well. Okay, so before we get into everything, you know the deal. Hit that like button down below. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Okay, also, please do not forget, hit that follow button on my Facebook page. Crush it. Follow me on my X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All right, hit that follow button on all those social medias. That'd be greatly appreciated. Of course, do not forget to crush that subscribe button on my YouTube channel if you're watching over here on the YouTube channel. And if you want to support the channel, by all means, hit that join button down below. Become a member of the family right here on YouTube. But if you want to support the channel even further, you can go over to patreon.com/the Pascal Show. That'd be amazing. And of course, it'd be a great thing to have you a part of the Pascal Show family on either platforms, okay? Support is always greatly appreciated, all right? Anyway, guys, we got to get straight into this. Obviously, we have been in the conversation of this case. We've been conversating about Micah Miller's case for a little while now. Now, there's been a lot of updates. A gang of new updates. It's been pretty wild. I'm going to be honest. It's been pretty wild. There's even been a cease and desist letter written to not only to friends and family that are feeling some type of way and side-eyeing the tragic demise of Micah Miller, but also to creators as well. It is nuts, okay? The fact that there is a lawyer out here saying any content creator, any media, any person that's out here talking about this, we coming to get you if you speak ill of Pastor JP. Now, if you guys don't know or remember, this young woman, her remains were found in a park. Okay, a little outside of about 40 some odd minutes away from Myrtle Beach, where she is from. And of course, there's been a lot of speculation before autopsy, before we heard anything from the medical examiner's office. Everyone was side-eyeing this situation because of one moment. Mainly, it sparked this whole thing, this one moment. When her we later find out estranged husband, Pastor John Paul Miller, went up into his pulpit And as he's closing out his service and letting his congregation walk out the door, he says, yes, my wife, I just found out last night that my wife is gone. He gives out all kinds of details saying that this was a self-inflicted situation. If you get what I'm saying, we got to use a lot of these code words. And he says, go amongst yourselves. Go on. Do not speak about it in here, but, go on, leave. Of course, this sparks a lot of questions. A lot of people are wondering, what the hell is this all about? Why would he address his congregation in such a fashion? It's a very wild thing. Let's not forget, he also was saying that this was self-inflicted, yet we, the public, the general public, even the family, even her immediate family had not heard any confirmation from her autopsy results or even from the medical examiner's office. So why would he go out of his way to say, oh yeah, she gone and it was self-inflicted, if they haven't even made that public knowledge yet? If they were doing the medical examiner was doing their due diligence and obviously examining her body and finding out what really happened here. Kind of a very inquisitive thing to put out there for everyone to hear, right? Let's not forget that he not only was saying that it was self-inflicted, he also was talking about her mental health issues, how she wasn't getting her medication on time and all this stuff. And this could be the reason why everything came to a head in this tragic moment. Okay. Now, everybody and their mama was sitting there going, oh my gosh, what's going on here? Family and friends are still scratching their heads. They're still looking at this and side-eyeing this situation like crazy. And I get it. I don't blame them for looking at this situation, even after we find out what happened from the medical examiner's office or what they found out in their findings and what they ended up saying, what actually happened to her. I don't blame the family still pushing for justice and still pushing for some sort of clarity, that just because they found out one thing does not mean it was done only by her. Now, the medical examiner office came out and said that she did do this to herself. Police also came out with a full-on timeline, including photos, video, and audio from a 911 call that she allegedly made, where she says on that 911 call, well, one, I'm calling because I wanted to see if you guys can track my phone because I want my family to know where I am because I'm about to do this unthinkable thing to myself. There's a full-on timeline of how she went to a pawn shop, picked up a weapon, and all that. How she went into her phone, Googled the nearest national park, right? National park closest to me. Where she later on finds out, or quickly finds out, that there was one about 41 minutes away from where she was. She gets in her car, drives out there. There's actual photos of her car driving up there. She goes into this particular place, finds the place where she wants to do this unthinkable thing, and she does the unthinkable, right? Now, I know family, friends are still kind of wondering, this is not right. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to us how she did this. And I'm going to still say this till I'm blue in the face. I am side-eyeing this situation like a mug. Something just ain't right. Now, I get it. Medical examiner's office says this is, in fact, her own doing, that this was indeed self-inflicted. But just because she did this, just because she pulled the trigger, does not mean it was not motivated by outside energy or something sinister going on here. And I'm going to keep saying that till I'm blue in the face, like I said earlier. Something just isn't right here. We later on find out, now, of course, this is the streets talking. We later on find out that they were going through a very nasty divorce. There was a lot of things going on. In fact, not only were they going through a nasty divorce, but this man was already on to the next one. All right. He was already on to another new main squeeze. Days after he reported her passing, he's already out seen gallivanting with another girl, with another woman. Pretty insane stuff. That's not even the streets talking. That's what he put out here for everyone to see. But there were more things as time went on because of how he was conducting himself out here in these streets, days, if not hours after finding out that his wife, his estranged wife, Micah Miller, passed away. There's been a lot of rumors as far as her having allegedly binders or documents that could destroy not only JP Miller, Pastor JP Miller's reputation and his image, but it could also possibly destroy the church in which he preaches from as well. Like I said, it's been pretty crazy. It's been wild. There's been conversations days before she passed. There was constant complaints about her being followed, people flattening her tires. It's been pretty nuts. We've covered all this stuff over last week. Now, of course, since Friday, there's been a lot of new pieces and a lot of new breadcrumbs that have presented themselves. So I want to go through like a gang of that stuff with y'all because it's not been good. Okay. And it's not shining a good light on Pastor JP. And I will say this, no pastor is like this, or no pastor should be like this. I'm sorry. Let me take that back because there are some bad pastors out there. They're hiding in plain sight, a wolf in sheep's clothing. They seem like they're really, a good, God-fearing, preaching, Bible-holding pastor, only to find out they're actually a monster in real life. Now we're starting to see even more of that. So first things first, I got a few things that happened over the past couple days that I want to share with you guys first. And then, of course, we will get into some videos and all that as well. But like I said, it is absolutely crazy to hear the amount of harassment, the torture, the BS that she went through. And of course, like I said, there were rumors that were said out here in these streets about how she was put in very unbelievably disturbing situations that she shouldn't have been put into, that she endured for years. Let's not forget that she was also claiming that she was groomed since the age of 10, at least in some police reports. But of course, Pastor JP sits there and goes, oh, no, she crazy. No, she going through some things. That's why she got admitted into a hospital, because she cray. Well, what if she isn't? What if she wasn't? What if it's easy for you to sit there and admit somebody because of the amount of master manipulation you've been putting into this person's mind since the age of 10? Possibly 14. Think about that for a second. And let's not forget the amount of mental torture that Micah could have gone through for decades by this man. And then suddenly out of nowhere, she just snaps. She has a moment, a sobering moment, a moment of clarity, a shocking revelation that happened within herself. That can actually happen. Where you go, oh my God, I've been doing this for this long. How could I have been doing this for this long and allowing this to happen to myself, to me? Oh my God, what did I do to myself? That can actually happen. Where somebody actually has a mental breakdown. But you see somebody possibly like Pastor JP, who sits there and goes, oh, this is an opportunity. Before she tries to expose me, I can lean on the fact that, oh, she cray. Oh, she crazy. Put her in a hospital. So then as soon as she comes out and says anything, There's already a stigma attached to anything she says because she was put into a mental health facility. Well, did she really? Was she really G'd? Was she really finessed, for lack of a better term, since she was 10 years old? Or is that just her mental health talking? Think about that for a second, y'all. As much as we take mental health seriously, we take mental health seriously. You see what I'm saying? And there is a stigma attached to that. Stamp of stigma, boom, right on top of it. Was she really finessed at 10? Or is this a mental health issue? I feel like that's instantly what any law enforcement officer is instantly thinking as soon as he talks to or they talk to Pastor JP. Oh, she's got some issues, and every year around this time, she does exactly this. Around Christmas time, around the holidays, this is when she starts acting a doggone fool. So I have to admit her. She goes crazy with the credit cards and stuff. Going into a Walmart. What, getting lawn chairs? Something? Buying a new Traeger? A grill? Something of that sort. That's crazy. Something doesn't feel right. It's not like she walked into a Gucci store going Gucci in a Gucci store. She in a Walmart. How can you go Gucci in a Walmart? Somebody please riddle me this, Batman. So I feel, personally, he leans on the mental health and he sits there and he acts like the victim. Like he's the tormented husband, like, oh, this is the cross. See what I did there? The cross I gotta bear. This is the one I gotta carry up the hill. This is my wife. Gotta take care of my wife. She got that mental health issue. Feel sorry for me, 5-0. But you can see, be on my team because she crazy. This is the kind of stuff that I'm seeing. And this is the kind of stuff that the family is seeing as well. But what's really interesting is as soon as anyone starts to scratch their head and go, but what? Just like what I've been saying here, just asking questions. Just asking the questions because it doesn't seem like she's the only one that pulled this trigger. Things like this happen. Like a lawyer, his attorney, he lawyered up. When, by the way, understandably, lawyering up does not mean admission of guilt. I just find it interesting, though. Doesn't matter. I just find it interesting. But he goes on and he is having this lawyer release a statement, which is basically a cease and desist. He's like, everybody stop. Stop talking about me. I'm innocent, dag nabbit. Now go with God. Right? Let's take a look at this article. All right. So the attorney for JP, the pastor of Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach, released a statement Thursday on the demise of his wife. Okay. So Attorney Long says this on behalf of JP. Okay. And it reads, in part, following the untimely demise of Mica Miller, unfounded rumors and false accusations began circulating on social media and various media outlets suggesting Pastor Miller's involvement in her demise. This created a buzz, causing local and national media outlets to begin proliferating these falsehoods on a mammoth proportion. Our client refutes any report that suggests he ever aided his wife. Recent reports claim that the pastor finessed, okay, I got to use these code words, guys, his wife from the age of 10 years old. Couldn't be further from the truth. All right. In fact, let's take a look at the PDF file right here. Okay. Let me blow this up here real quick. Okay, couldn't be farther from the truth. She moved to Myrtle Beach at the age of 15, was married to another man at the age of 18, and divorced at the age of 21. It has come to light that Micah Miller struggled with mental illness, specifically bipolar disorder, which, when not properly managed, led to paranoid episodes and self destructive behavior. Again, Micah suffered from mental illness, and some reports made by her in the recent past are nonsensical. This unfortunate reality underscores the importance of destigmatizing mental health issues and ensuring those affected receive appropriate support and treatment. Now, here's the thing though. Let's just talk about this for a hot minute. All right. Now, she claimed that at 10 years old, she was being finessed by this man. Now, just because she gets married, just because first off, just because she moves there at the age of 15 doesn't mean that. I guess I'm kind of curious as to the timeline, right? Just because she says that she was finessed at 10 years old doesn't mean that she wasn't finessed. She may have the time off, right? That could be part of the mental health issue for sure. She could be wrong on that part. It could have been when she was 14, 15 years old, but she said 10 instead. That happens. Those things do happen, especially when you have somebody who has some sort of mental health issue, for sure. Okay. And I'm not going to sit here and say that she is not mentally well. She clearly went through some mental health issues for sure. And her timeline could be wrong. Okay. But that still does not change the fact that she met this man when she was underage. Does not change that fact. It does not. Just because if it's 5 years later or 5 years earlier, does not matter. She was still being finessed by this man. But okay, she has mental health issues. We clearly know that by now, right? But she marries another man at the age of 18. Still doesn't mean that this man, that JP didn't have his claws sunk into her, under her skin for however long. He could be finessing her and working on her from the time she's 15 all the way to the time that she gets divorced at 21. And then they finally get together and whatever. But they were having an extramarital affair. Let's not forget that too, y'all. While both of them were in marriages. So it doesn't matter the timeline. It doesn't. She could have that off. That really, really can be off. But that does not change any of the facts of the matter, which is she knew this man when she was underage. She was not an adult. She was not of legal age or anything of that sort. The other thing I'm kind of curious about is I'd love to hear from the ex-husband. Where's Micah Miller's first husband? She gets married at the age of 18 and they get divorced at 21. I'm really curious to hear what the ex-husband has to say about this as well. Does he say, yes, she had, paranoid episodes? Okay. Was her bipolar disorder improperly managed? Did she have paranoid episodes and self-destructive behavior during that time as well? I'm quite curious about that as well. But you can say whatever you want on here and then lean hard on mental health and say, oh, it's just because she lost her marbles. No. This man, I'm going to let the information speak for itself. Let's continue on, okay? We wish to emphasize that after a thorough investigation by Robeson County, the Robeson County Sheriff's Office, it has been conclusively determined that Miss Miller's demise was a result of a self-inflicted GSW. This finding completely exonerates Pastor Miller of any wrongdoing. I beg to differ. Like I said, maybe this is one of the first of its kind. This conversation in this case, maybe this is one of the first of its kind. But I do truly feel that there is some serious wrongdoing coming from Pastor Miller. That's just what I think. These baseless claims and false reporting have caused immense distress and harm to Pastor Miller and his family and needs to stop immediately. We hereby demand that all individuals and media outlets cease and desist from perpetuating these harmful falsehoods. Any further dissemination of defamatory and libelous statements will be met with legal action. A complete inventory of these defamatory and libelous statements has been conducted. Those that have, to date, violated JP's right to live in peace and to mourn the passing of his wife respectfully will be held accountable. Now, what's interesting is he's not mourning the passing from what I've seen. He out here gallivanting. Like I said, he out here. He out here, guys. So what are you talking about? He's not out here, okay, trying to mourn the passing of his wife. He had already moved on to another girl, a new woman. He has passed on. So I disagree with this wholeheartedly, okay? Those that choose to allow any previously posted or published false statements about Pastor Miller will remain in the public domain can expect to be served with civil litigation against them individually, and when appropriate, their media organizations and managerial supervisions can expect the same. Interesting. We all have the right to free speech, which is exactly what we're doing right now. But not that speech which is false and harmful to the subject of the speech. Many media outlets have reached out to Pastor Miller for comment, and we direct all future requests for comment be directly to Attorney Long at his Myrtle Beach office. We appreciate your cooperation in respecting his right to grieve and mourn his wife's passing without undue interference or slander. Sincerely, Russell B. Long. So here's the thing, guys. All right. There's one thing to be out here, getting all up in his face, making his life a living hell in that way. Sure. There's a way of there is that one specific angle. Then there's the other, right? There is the having a conversation and talking about things that have transpired and talking about what the news is reporting. That's another. I don't see any defamation, at least coming from this platform. If there's information that's coming out, we talk about it. That is the part that's so wonderful about freedom of speech. Now, I get it. Going out here and saying things that are false, not good. Not good. That's when it's defamation. If you're out here lying on your ways, that's bad. But when you have information that's out here that's coming from his phone and it's coming from media and they're putting it out here, letting everybody know about this, you got to talk about it. So here it is. I will also say this. This is the bed that he made, allegedly. So if he's got to lie in it, he's got to lie in it. I will say this too, man. I mean, let's keep it a buck. Yes, this is terrible. I can only imagine what it's like to be on that side of the fence. In fact, I can't even imagine that because that's not how I roll. I'm not out here with several, different ex-wives, out here with different women being disrespectful to the one that I love and all that stuff. That's not right. That's not how you conduct thyself out here in these streets. You just don't. But you go out, you do a sermon, or you do your service, you worship. The very end, you say, oh, yeah, by the way, my wife is gone. But then before that, you're out here bad-mouthing her in your sermons as well, in front of your entire congregation. Like I said, it just is not good. It doesn't make sense. So you can't be mad at the people that are consuming all the stuff that you've put out here, the breadcrumbs of stuff that you've put out here. You just can't. Then on top of that, let me just show you guys this video, because it's just so, it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. You can't, like I said, you can't turn to people and say, don't talk. You're not allowed to talk if there's information that's being out here, that's coming out here that you did and created yourself. It's not defamatory if it's true. As Fiona Harvey said on her on Piers Morgan. Remember Friday when we watched Baby Reindeer's real life Martha came through? Yes, that's correct. Right? She talking about all this stuff. It's not defamatory if it's true. Remember? Right? So I second that emotion too. Okay? But there's things like this video I'm about to show you from Ashley Banfield, where they talk about him threatening Micah with a possible shirtless photo of herself. And I guarantee you this is just the tip of the iceberg, baby. We have just begun. Let's take a look at this, guys, shall we? Hit the number one. Let me know you guys can hear this.
I want to bring in News Nation's senior investigative reporter, Rich McHugh, who has been digging into this story for us all week long. Rich, there is this incredibly important sort of stalking report. And we were talking about it quite a bit after we discovered that Micah had taken her life. It talks about a tracker being put on her car. It talks about her tires being slashed. It talks about this device being jabbed into her tires to let the air out. It talks about a man showing up at a gas station, then following her to a car dealership, and that man's name was redacted all the way through. Last night, we learned the man's name was actually John Paul Miller, the estranged husband, the man who everybody had pointed to as the cause of all of this prior to finding out it was a suicide. But now we actually have an email from him when he's admitting to some of this behavior. What have you found out?
So we've come into a lot of information that has been sent to the police, and that's the key thing here, because people are wondering, okay, so what are police to do with all of these allegations? Do they even know? And now we know that her family has forwarded all of this information to the police. One of the things that is included in these documents is an apology email from him to Micah on April 15th of this year, which is about 12 days before she died. In it, he writes, "I'm sorry for damaging your car, tires, etc. If you ever come back, I will turn in both cars and get you a nice SUV or whatever car you want. Again, my horrible flesh pattern of hurting someone when they hurt me." So there you have it. He's kind of outing himself.
And I'll give you something shiny and new if you just come back to me. Boy, if I had a dime, Rich, for every time I've seen an abusive relationship like that. So JP, actually, Mr. Miller, John Paul Miller, Pastor Miller, has been having conversations with you via, texting back and forth. And if I understand this correctly, he has also admitted directly to you that he's the person who put the tracker on the car.
That's right. That's right. So earlier this week, I believe it was Monday, I engaged with him and he started talking back with me, kind of unprovoked. And I also want to read this because this thing stood out to me when I read it at the time. I didn't really know it. He said, this is JP to me, I even hired a PI to put trackers on her car to know if she was going to a gun store because she kept trying to get a gun for the past few months. I have never once in my entire life ever hurt her in any way, ever.
I'm sorry, but I gotta Okay, so I listened to this just the other day, and okay, my jaw dropped. All right, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna share this with the fam. We're gonna talk about this as a family because in my mind, I was like, there's no way that somebody can look at this and not go, "What's up with that?" Okay, let me just say this really quick. There's a couple things I want to break down within this statement here because there's more to this video, right? But he says, I even hired a PI to put trackers on her car. First and foremost, why? Why would you do that? Someone explain that to me. To me, this is a lie. This is a bold-faced lie. Okay? I don't know why it turned into a song, but F it. It felt good coming out. Anyway, this is a bold-faced lie. All right? Bold-faced lie. You want to know why it's a bold-faced lie? If you were putting trackers on her car, let's just say that she did have a tracker on her car when she went off to go to the Pew Pew store or to the pawn shop. And I'm actually kind of curious about that. Is there or was there a tracker on her car when she went to the pawn shop? Because if there was one, why wasn't his truck going in the direction or at least taking a trip over to the pawn shop? Think about that for a second. If you're so concerned about her, first off, you don't put trackers on somebody's car because you're so worried about, she might just go to the Pew Pew store and I want to prevent it. You're not going to prevent it. You might see on the tracker that she's at a Pew Pew store, but that's not going to stop anything. You think you're going to be within 5 minutes of wherever she goes, whatever store, pawn shop, Pew Pew store that she goes to? You're going to be able to swoop in and go, don't do that, honey. What? Make that make sense, y'all. Make it make sense. He's freaking lying right now, guys. Lying. Oh, I had PIs do that for me. Why are these PIs running around then following her, making their presence known like the way that she's been saying in these reports and have been reported by police, because police officers have also crossed paths with these individuals as well. If they're PIs, they're supposed to be PIs. They're supposed to be private. They're not supposed to be seen. Those are the worst PIs in the world then that you hired. You got to be kidding me. I got to play it again because that's just ridiculous. I call cap on this whole thing. Let's continue. Like I said, those are PIs. Well, they are the worst PIs in the history of PI. Okay? Because they done got caught multiple times then. No, those are not PIs. Those are called individuals. Those are your cohorts, your minions, your people that you have on payroll or whatever, or that you've brainwashed as well, that believe, oh, God is the way. And if I'm helping him out, I'm helping God, whatever it may be. I'm helping a soldier of Christ. Whatever it may be, they're thinking in their heads, they're thinking they're doing the right thing by making Micah's life a living hell. Those are not PIs, guys. Those are not PIs. Those are people harassing an innocent woman that's trying to move on with her life. Let's move on. Lies, babies. Cap.
I was just communicating with him on text, drawing him out, and he kept texting and texting and texting. I've officially asked him for an interview. His attorney has, of course, said no, but that's where it stands.
That's pretty glaring, admitting to that. Okay, the next thing is that he apologized for something else. And this was something we were unsure of. There were allegations that Micah had been threatened, that a topless photo of her would be posted on the internet. And now he is admitting that it was him. He was the one making those threats.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but I got to. Let me just say this really quick, and I'm going to let him speak his part, okay? But you have got to be kidding me, sitting here saying, everybody who's talking about me better stop talking about me. I'm going to sue you. But you're putting this information out here. You are confessing to someone saying, yes, indeed, I did that. Who are you going to sue? Who are you going to sue when you're giving us this stuff? You know what I mean? Why did it make me think of it? Macho Man Randy Savage. Who are you going to sue, brother? Oh, yeah. Who you going to sue when you're putting this stuff out on your own ass? Come on, man. Oh, my God. Ah, okay. Moving on. But he even said, yeah, I threatened her with the topless video photo of her. Yeah. You did this yourself, man. Wow. What you gonna do, brother? Oh, yeah.
Yes, so this goes back to this apology letter that we have. It's an apology letter from him to Micah, dated April 15th. In it, he's apologizing for a series of things, and one of them is a photo that was produced on the internet. It was topless of her. We're not going to show that here, of course, but in the apology, he says, "I'm sorry for putting a picture of you on the internet. It was for less than 1 hour and immediately taken down. I was hurt that you were telling everyone horrible, intimate details of my past sin, and I just wanted to try and hurt you. Please forgive me. It was evil of me to do that."
I really have to just. He's admitting it. Oh, but I only put it up for an hour. Do you realize that an hour is an eternity on the internet? Guarantee you somebody got a hold of that photo. I don't want it. I don't want to see it. I don't want it. Don't care. Don't want to see it. But at the same time, they got somebody out here. He says, oh, it was only up for an hour. And I was just hurt that you were telling everyone of my horrible, intimate details of my past sin. Apparently past, you mean current sins too. And aren't you supposed to be protecting and loving your wife at all costs? Like, if she was out here telling the truth, then it is what it is. But your way of trying to hurt her, like, it is such F-boy effery. It is just so ridiculous to me. You're a pastor, and you were doing this. First wife, by the way, as far as in the church. Okay? This is your partner, and you're putting this out on the internet. Where would you put this on the internet? Where your congregation ain't going to see it and ain't going to look at you in a bad way. Because not one person in your congregation is going to sit there and go, yes, put up the nudie photo. They're not going to do that. They're going to go, what the hell are you doing? You're the leader of our church. No, I'm not coming back here anymore. Deuces. That's it. So stupid. Stupid. An hour is an eternity. An hour is an eternity. I'm going to continue because I guarantee you some jerk, some disturbing person has that in their possession, probably has already been reposting this stuff all over Reddit or some type of ish. I'm telling you right now, this is bad, y'all. This is terrible. And my heart breaks for this woman. I'm telling you right now, she is not the only one that pulled that trigger. I'm telling you right now, she was pushed. She was pushed. You cannot tell me that all these breadcrumbs did not lead to that state park where her body was later found. I'm sorry. Man, God, it gets me so angry. Woo! Okay, woosah, let's continue.
Oh, so yeah, it's only up there for an hour. Like that doesn't have life elsewhere when people download naked photos and they live forever. And I'm sorry, but there's the but. Like that's again just a classic pattern that you often see. So you have also seen text messages between John Paul Miller and Micah's family. What were in those text messages?
Some of the text messages I've seen were pictures of text chains where her family was communicating, and Micah was on there. But Micah, this was at a time where I believe she was in the hospital, and so the Micah jumps into the conversation and said something like, "Happy Valentine's Day to me," and I believe her mother or a relative says, "Micah, is that you?" And it was quickly figured out that this was not Micah. This was JP. That he had possession of the phone, and it was his interpretation, legal interpretation, that it was marital property. And so this is just one of a number of instances. You know, he took over her Facebook page. Her brother took it back, and her sister took it back and said, "Hey, this account has been taken over. Do not post." There's a lot here. There's a lot here, actually.
That's like insane. I mean, marital property, sure, but communicating as someone else is not marital property. You can't just grab a marital property telephone and then pretend to be like there's a distortion if I've ever heard one.
It's so insane. It's so insane. No, like, you know what I mean? It's like anything. You know, he could lean over and grab her sandwich right out her mouth and go, "This is marital property. It's mine too." Like, I just. It's just so sad. Like I said, I think this woman was pushed all the way to the edge. That's what I honestly think. Okay. I think she was pushed to the edge. I think he used this opportunity so that he could possibly move on with his life. I mean, this is just theory. This is just my own speculation. Use this as an opportunity to press on, to expand and to, you know, live his life however he saw fit. But he leaned on certain things like marital property and all that. And here's the other thing too. Let's talk about mental health here for a second, okay? In no way, shape, or form am I here trying to talk ill on mental health. I hope I made that abundantly clear. I'm not trying to talk ill on mental health. Please seek help if you need it. But also, there's a certain level of sensitivity that you need to have when it comes to dealing with someone who may be mentally fragile, especially in extremely vulnerable moments. If you know a person is going through really hard times and you know that they have a history of trying to do things self-inflicted, it's extremely important that you conduct yourself in the most diplomatic and the most understanding places, in the most understanding and diplomatic way that you can. You lead with heart. You lead with care. Shoot, if you have to handle them with kid gloves, then you handle them with kid gloves. You do not post photos. You do not take over phones and say marital property or anything of that sort. You do not mentally destroy them when they're already at the most vulnerable and most fragile point in their lives. This is not how you conduct things. This is not how any human being should be treating other human beings, let alone a pastor treating their wife like this as well. When you know for a fact he knows he is breaking her down or she has been broken down for this entire time. He wanted her to feel his pain. We've already seen emails. We've already seen affidavits. We've already seen statements made by family about how he wanted to retaliate. I want you to feel the pain that I'm feeling. But instead of, say, taking the high road like a pastor should be doing, he says, let me see how many pegs I can knock her down from. That's exactly what he did. Oh, I got her down this peg. Let's see how low I can get this. I want her to know she messing with a real one right here. You picked the wrong one today, kind of thing. And apparently he's still pastoring at the church. Hey, that's something too. We're going to talk about that in a second. Let's continue.
So Micah herself wrote something before she died, a document of sorts. Did you get your hands on it, and what's in it?
Yes. So this is a letter that she wrote 2 days after this apology letter, if I have this correct, and roughly 9 days before she died. It was a letter to for the courts in part of her divorce court proceedings, and it's a hard thing to read. I'll just be completely honest. She lays out like the entire case of why she's leaving him and what has happened to her. I just want to read a snippet of it. I don't even know if we have it, but her opening sentence is, "Since the day we became husband and wife, I have been abused in every way I can think of, emotionally, sexually, spiritually, financially, and physically. He has harassed me physically and electronically with letters, phone calls, emails, texts, hacking my emails, hacking my personal Facebook and impersonating me, using my stolen phone to send texts and emails out to church members." It goes on and on and on. "Installing tracking devices on my vehicle, on my godmother's vehicle. The trackers were found on March 11th, March 14th, March 24th, April 15th. All of these have been documented and reported to the police." That's the key here, actually, is that the police
what I wanted
have
to
all
ask.
this information.
The police have all this. They have the letter. They have the incidents. They have police reports. Did they do anything about it?
I've reached out to all the police agencies today. I only heard back from one of the agencies that was the lead agency investigating her death in North Carolina. Keep in mind, she's from South Carolina. She died in North Carolina. They kind of passed the buck. They said, "This is not related to her death. You need to contact the police agencies in South Carolina." I have, and I haven't heard back. So it'll be interesting to see what they do respond, because from what I can tell, from what I can gather from conversations with her family, and you're about to speak to them directly, but they'd like to see some charges come from these past incidences. Like, there's questions about legally, what lines were crossed here, and it seems to me
at least that
there may have been some.
I mean, just at least that an investigation has been going on, right, with all of these reports
Right.
and all of this evidence.
Right.
Rich McHugh.
Yeah, like I said, it's very weird. Like I said earlier, it's very weird, everything that has transpired. And I know that this is a unique case. It's not every day that you get a case like this, or that you have a group of people urging for the transparency and the investigation on somebody's self-inflicting, GSW type thing, or, a person doing this unthinkable thing to themselves. It's not every day that you get these kind of cases. I think there was I remember a movie or not a docu-series, but like a show that was like a true story where there was this teenage girl trying to convince a kind of like a teenage boy to do this unthinkable thing to himself. It's a true story. I just don't remember the title of the actual series or the names of the people. It's just something I saw years ago. But she convinced this young man to do this unthinkable thing to himself, and he did. And of course, there was a whole trial behind it and all that, right? Because she was literally texting him verbatim, "Why don't you see what I'm saying? Such and such." Now, this one's a little bit different. As far as we know, or as far as I know, I have yet to see, no, not 13 Reasons. No. It's an actual true story, not 13 Reasons. That one, totally different thing. But as I was saying, it's not every day that you hear a case like this. Now, I'm not sitting here saying, we don't see anything so far where he has literally said, "I need you to do X, Y, and Z." So I'm saying, read yourself kind of thing, if you catch my drift. It's not like we've seen an email or a text message or anything of that sort being said. So I am quite curious how they would be able to build a case around this if there was not verbatim, word for word, "You need to go and do this particular act." I could see everything leading up to this being a big breadcrumbs, like big incident after incident after incident that would lead her to this place where she feels like she's trapped and there's no way of getting out and she can't take it anymore. So she does this unthinkable thing. My question is, how are they going to properly solidify this onto Pastor JP without question? That's the one thing I'm kind of curious about. And also the other thing too is law enforcement actually going to do anything about it too? Are they just sitting there going, it's an open and shut case? Bye-bye, deuces? I'm kind of curious about that, right? Nikisha, yes, the girl from Plainville, thank you. Yeah, that actually was not a bad series, but that is based on a true story. And I remember that case, and that was very, very interesting, right? A very, very interesting case. And they had to, they had to do everything they could to try to see if she should be getting hit with criminal charges for texting this young man those things. Okay. But let me grab some of these super chats really, really quick before we move on. Melly, thank you so much. Good morning, Pascal. Good morning to you too. And good afternoon now, but good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. I appreciate you all being here. Kimberly, thank you so much for being a member for the past 18 months. Hi. Hello, fam. Okay. Melly, thank you. Oh, hey, thank you so much for gifting one membership. I really do appreciate it. And Melly, again, thank you so much for the super chat. What's in the dark always comes to light. Yes, I agree as well. I couldn't agree more with all of that. And like I said, this is still crazy, right? This is still a very, very heartbreaking situation. And we got more to look at. Trust, there's a whole lot more to look at in this situation. I got the interview with the family that I wanted to share with you. There's also a video that went out over the last few days of JP having, like, I guess the worst meltdown ever, which we are going to look at here shortly. But I do want to share with you guys the interview with her family members. Okay. So let's take a look at that here really quick.
There are some questions about that. In fact, we were going to try to start seeking a civil action attorney to consult with to see if some of the documents that we have found, or not found, but that Micah left in my care, as well as her family also had found, there seems to me that there could be a civil action, not against the police. The police, under the circumstances, responded, I think, appropriately under what was happening at the time. But there are other things that happened that are related to this church. She was employed there. There's a question about whether she was appropriately paid for her time. She was the church itself was used by John Paul. I have letters that he wrote on church stationery to her, basically disparaging her. He went after everything that meant anything to this young woman. And I want to go back to the question about, what else this could have been if he didn't actually pull the trigger. This man, in my opinion, based on the documents, my conversations with Micah whenever she was alive, tell me that she was brainwashed by this man. He abused her in every possible way that there is. Financially, he abused her by taking away things, phones, access to money, took away her car, those types of things to try to gain control of her. Every time she tried to leave him, he would harass and stalk her to the point that she just felt like she had to give up and go back. And he abused her not only emotionally, financially, he abused her religiously in terms of her religion and her relationship with God. He demeaned her in every aspect that he could. There is a video of a sermon of him that I was just so taken aback, and my jaw hit the ground because I felt like I had come across the answer of maybe why she would have taken it this far. And that is, he had her convinced that this was what she should do. In my opinion, I believe he had her convinced that it would be the only way that she could escape him to some degree. I believe that he had her convinced all the way. I believe that he used every tactic and tool that he could.
And it looks like that too. Now, one thing, Caitlin, thank you so much for the comment here. I appreciate it. No autopsy, no toxicology, no check for gunpowder residue, no check to see if there was water in her lungs. That's that's all important stuff, right? And now she's cremated, and we can't go back. Also, apparently, had a lot of bruises and handprint. Now, one piece I am kind of curious about that too. All right. I am curious about the markings on her body and the handprint. I haven't heard fully all about it. I've just heard through the grapevine, but I'm kind of curious about it. And I might have to look at that and bring it up in another stream or another show. You know what I mean? But that is very interesting, right? Shirley just said JP had Micah cremated so family could not do an autopsy to prove she didn't off herself. Yeah, I mean, but I am kind of curious. You know, I know that there's been a lot of conversation about there being a I forgot what it was called, something tarnished badge. I know that there's been a lot of conversation unearthing the I forgot the phrase. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize, but there's been a lot of conversation about there being some sort of corruption going on in law enforcement in that area and all that. And the thing is I don't know about all that. Personally, I don't. You know, that Operation Tarnished badge. Thank you so much. Thank you, Teresa. I appreciate it. Teresa from downtown. I appreciate it. Yes. Operation Tarnished badge. And that apparently unearthed a lot of stuff, right, within the local PD. Now, I'm not sitting here saying anything about that because that's still a fairly brand new information for me, and I want to look into it a little bit more. But it is still interesting nonetheless, and it does make you wonder, is there any connection between pastor and law enforcement? And there apparently has been a lot of things that were ruled self-inflicted when when family and friends wished that that victim or that person that did this had a more thorough investigation, kind of like what's going on with Micah's situation, right? As soon as she is found, perished, she is cremated. No autopsy, no nothing, just medical examiner and his investigation, and that's it. I think that's very interesting, right? It makes you side-eye the situation. And again, it all could just be because of timing from him. She's my wife, so you know what I mean? So on and so forth. It is interesting, nonetheless. Another thing I want to point out, too, her brother, Micah's brother, in his affidavit, and this is just coming off the top of the dome, said that he had power of attorney over his sister, over Micah, meaning if she was ever to be put into a facility or if she was ever not able to make decisions for herself, he would be the one to conduct those decisions, to make those decisions in the best interest of Micah. Allegedly, his name was taken off of this power of attorney, and it was given, his POA, the power of attorney, was given over to Pastor JP. Like I said, that's still very weird. If I was Nathaniel, I'd be wondering the same thing. If I were Micah's brother, I'd be wondering the same damn thing. Wait a second. I'm supposed to be power of attorney. So if she needs to be admitted to a mental health facility, I should have control over that and decisions on how she is handled in that facility. Not you. But for some odd reason, my name gets taken off and his name is on it. How did that happen? Weird, don't you think? Just some things to think about, guys. Like I said, this thing seems to be getting deeper and deeper, and it's getting wilder and wilder, and we are going to be looking at it quite a bit as long as there's information out there to look at, right?
The mounds of paperwork that I have is incredible. She collected a lot of things. She kept a notebook. I have boxes of journals, which, by the way, he's made 100 phone calls looking for, as I understand. And he is
Hold on. I need you to hear that.
and tool that he could. The mounds of paperwork that I have is incredible. She collected a lot of things. She kept a notebook. I have boxes of journals, which, by the way, he's made 100 phone calls looking for.
She has notebooks, she has journals, she has documents, she has a lot of stuff that allegedly this lawyer has that's in her possession now that JP is trying to get his hands on. Why would he be so hell-bent on trying to get the notebooks, journals, documents, all that stuff from her? If it's nothing incriminating, why is he so hell-bent on that? Let's continue.
As I understand, and he is constantly trying to stay in front of this, spin some web, some story, and I think we have enough here that.
With that evidence, I'm curious. I'm sorry to jump in, Regina, but Sierra, do you think you can shed some light on why your sister told the police that John Paul had been grooming her since the age of 10, but that her her involvement with the church only began at age 14 in a youth program? Do you know what the difference is between those two claims?
Good question.
If I had to assume, I would guess that she probably meant 2010, not 10. Since 2010 would be a better estimate of what she might have meant.
Yeah, I don't think
that lines
she
up
ever
with being
said
age 14
years old.
No, she's consistently said around 14, 15 years old. I've never heard her ever say 10 years old.
Interesting indeed. Now, here's the thing. That could be misunderstood. That could definitely be misunderstood. She could be like, he's been finessing me since 10. And she could have been meaning 2010. She literally could have been doing that. That could very well be it. And maybe through her saying things out of anger, out of passion and going, oh my God, he's been finessing me since 10. Like, since 19 or since 2020 or since 20 or 24 or since 23. You know what I mean? It is interesting to say 10 unless the cop only heard the last half of the year. That's also possible too. You know what I mean? Maybe he only gathered 10 and she said 2010, but that would still make her 14 around that time if it was 2010, right? So interesting, right? No, because wait. She just turned 30. Okay. Yeah, no, you actually, yeah, it'd be 16. It'd be about 16. Yeah, it'd be about 15, 16. Let's just say that, give or take. It'd be wavering between those ages. Still, no matter what, very disturbing. Okay? Still very, very disturbing. So, yeah, she'd be about 16. So the number, if it is 15, maybe she wasn't, maybe it isn't 14, maybe it was 15 and she was on her way to 16 years old around that time. Doesn't matter. She's still a minor. She's still not of age. That's still young as hell. Okay. And still very, very odd. So with that being said, I appreciated the clarification from the sister, right? Because that is still incredibly insane, no matter what. Now, there's some things I wanted to share with you guys. There's a video and all that stuff I'm going to share with you guys here in just a minute. But there is a photo of a conversation that JP was having, and allegedly it was right around the time, or right around after she passed away, after she was found gone. All right. And JP apparently sent this to a group chat to the family. This is a whole group chat, and he comes in and he puts this in to the group chat. If this is 100% true, this is insane. Take a look at this. This is what happens when you try to encourage someone to divorce the person they love and tell them they don't need medicine and that they're not ill when they are. Good job, Francis family. Yo. That's insane, yo. That's insane. So, of course, the sister says, F out of here. You're the reason why our sister is gone. You know, DEAD. I can't say that word that often. Okay. But pretty crazy, guys. He puts out this information. Man, that's crazy, yo. That's crazy. You can't write that stuff. Literally, you can't write that stuff. You shouldn't write that stuff. But apparently he did. He wrote that stuff. It's a damn shame. Let's continue on. And I think like this dude is just all about this, like, it's all about the drama for him, it seems. Mica Miller, estranged pastor husband, sparks outrage with the blasphemous eulogy, claiming he visited her body 4 times and tried to raise her from her demise after shock. Unthinkable thing. So, of course, he says, he told a funeral, he told a room full of funeral mourners that he tried to raise her from the dead when he visited her body after her tragic ending. All right. So Miller is accused in court documents of finessing Micah for years before they wed, committing her to a hospital to steal her car, and cheating on his first wife with underage churchgoers. The pastor gave an emotional 20-minute speech at the memorial service at Solid Rock Ministries in Myrtle Beach. Okay, they posted the video of the eulogy almost a week later on Saturday, and hundreds of viewers were unnerved by his fake and sad act of damage control. It is fascinating, the video. It is very, very fascinating. I will say that. So he says he told mourners that he visited her body in the morgue 4 times in the week since she passed. Each time, it still didn't hit me. I thought she was going to wake up. I even tried to raise her from the dead 1 time this week. He went to the mall later that day and saw a woman who looked just like Micah with similar clothes and tattoo on her arm, and he instinctively yelled Micah. When she turned around, it turned out to be one of her sisters. Yikes. I thought I raised her from the dead. I can't wait to see her again one day, he said, wiping tears from his eyes. Crocodile tears, I'm sure. Miller said many people saying how beautiful she was on the outside, but only a spouse knows how beautiful a person is on the inside. If I had 10 hours, it would be enough to tell you all the great things about her. He talked about beauty pageants that she won from school onwards, and moved on to stories where she would help funeral goers understand a more intimate side of her. Of course, we already know that they married in 2017. He recounted his elaborate proposal where he brought the congregation to the beach under the guise of a baptism. As a plane flew by dragging "Will you marry me, Micah?" a banner, he turned towards her on the beach while the church clapped and cheered. But she said, why is everybody cheering? Because she couldn't read it because she didn't have her contacts in. He called his estranged wife bold, confident, anointed, passionate at leading worship, with a powerful singing voice he could hear all over their house. He recalled how she sat through the Pitch Perfect movie trilogy 15 times before finally telling him she didn't like them, and a trip to a karaoke bar on a holiday to Cancun during spring break. So, and she says she sang Sunday morning in a dingy bar, and the locals all stood up, raised their glasses or raised their drinks, and sang the chorus with her in broken English. They got her to sing 5 songs in a row, which that's dope. He showed photos of her doing adventurous things on holiday that scared him. I didn't know if this is safe. I'm a lot older than you. I don't know if if I should be doing this. He remembered telling her. She loved doing dangerous things, loved skydiving. She would beg me to do these things with her, and she never. And I said never. And I said never. I said never. I have children. I can't do this stuff. He also recalled how she convinced him to get their marriage vows tattooed on their forearms. I can't stand tattoos because they hurt. I don't like pain. Micah's family boycotted the service and held their own on the beach instead. Footage of the eulogy sparked backlash on Saturday, with many shocked at Miller's involvement. It says this man is so close to never being able for redemption. JP, get on your knees and repent now for how you treated this woman, one wrote. This is such a low level of blasphemy. This man literally has no shame whatsoever. I mean, another one says this is the creepiest service. Those are the fakest tears I've ever seen. Seems like he is glad she is gone and rushing the funeral so he can get on with another life. I mean, let's be real. Let's be completely real. All of it this is all bad. And especially when you are being looked at in such a horrible, horrible way, you are not the first person I would think in my mind of, yeah, you're the one who should be the pastor for this funeral. Hell no. I don't understand why he was the one doing that. Like, I get him doing okay. I would expect any person's significant other, their spouse, wife, husband, whatever, to do the eulogy, to speak out if they have the strength to do so. Let's be real. If you lose the love of your life, which I hope no one ever has to endure that, but I understand life is life. Those things will happen in our lives. A lot of us are not going to sit there and go, oh, I need to get up there and speak. No, a lot of them are like, no, I need my sister or my best friend or her best friend or somebody else to do it for me because I cannot speak on her behalf. I just can't. Because you're already still going through all the stuff in your head going, you can't even believe that person's not here, right? So you'd hope you have a friend or someone that's really great at speaking that can write or read a eulogy for you on behalf of you and behalf of the other people that are deeply affected and deeply touched by that person's passing. But you got to miss me with this nonsense, with everything else that's added on top of this, and the fact that they are estranged. Who told you that you had the podium to speak on her behalf? Plenty of other people would have been more than happy, I'm sure, to do the eulogy for her inside of Solid Rock Church. It looks so bad. It looks so bad. And then it looks even more narcissistic because it's like, oh, it's an opportunity to form the narrative the best way I can so I still look like I'm the grieving husband and I can sway my congregation back over to my side without them side-eyeing me. When in actuality, when people watched it, more and more people are starting to side-eye you more than ever before. It's terrible. It's terrible. S-Dubs, thank you so much for being a member for the past 15 months. Appreciate you. But is there anything legally that can be done to him for the A and her demise? See, that's what I'm asking as well. That's the one thing I'm kind of curious about. In what ways can they take him down? Now, I could see they're saying that they may be looking into some sort of civil lawsuit. That I could see happening. But as far as them going, oh, you did this to her, they're going to have a hard time proving the breadcrumbs. I'm not sitting here saying that it's not possible. I'm just saying that they got to put in the work and lay it out so that they can properly attack him criminally. This is the reason why I'm saying that this case is so unique. Because at the end of the day, I know that there's a lot of people that think, okay, just because he drove to, the truck was being driven to an athletic event does not mean that he was actually in the car. Of course, I would love to know his alibi. I would love to see if his alibi is solid and is confirmed, right? But they say that his car was going a completely different direction to an athletic event. And apparently he was seen at this athletic event. I want to know if that's actually true, number one. But number two, that doesn't mean that he was driving it. That doesn't mean that he wasn't driving it, or that he was driving it, I'm sorry. Then also people are saying that the 911 call could be AI. I don't know about that. I don't. Because I know at this point with AI and the way that the world is nowadays, anything could be AI. I could be AI right now. Okay? Oh my God, me AI? I'm totally kidding. I'm not AI. Okay. In fact, let me show you proof. I'm not AI. I'm drinking. Live on the show. I'm not AI. But still, it'd be pretty crazy for somebody to sit there. You know what I mean? So, or it's pretty simple for everyone to instantly go AI. Remember Sebastian Rogers' photo or the sighting of Sebastian Rogers? We thought it could have been Sebastian. We all were looking at that going, is that AI? That must be AI. No. That AI. That photo be AI. Everybody thought it was AI, right? And what happened? It was a real kid. It was not AI. So I know it's easy for us to instantly go down the route of AI. But it may not be, but it could very well be a real 911 call. She is no longer here. Now I understand cremation, all that. They weren't able to go and do a proper autopsy and all that stuff. That is pretty crazy. And I also find it interesting because as far as faith goes, I thought that it was body must be fully intact as you bury them in the ground, right? You bury them. You do that procedure, right? You do that ceremonial way of saying goodbye, not burn the remains and now you have ashes. But then again, everyone, church, everyone's faith is different. It just seems a little bit odd, in my personal opinion. That whole procedure, very odd in my personal opinion. Oh, she gone? Let's cremate her. What? See, not only does it show suspicious activity, potential, it could sprout questions, right? A lot of red flags, but it also says something else as well. Now, if she did say to him, I want to be cremated, that's one thing, okay? But what if she said she didn't want to be cremated? It's no disrespect to any person that's been cremated, because some people want it that way. And some families can't afford a traditional, the casket, the burial, and all that. So it is the cheapest route. No disrespect to anyone who's been cremated, okay? And may they all rest in peace. But what if she didn't even say that she wanted to be cremated? Do you realize that's another middle finger to her too? That he didn't even ask, didn't even turn to the family, to her family, to see how they want to say goodbye to her. He just said, cremate her. Go ahead. What? What if they wanted to bury her and say goodbye, do a proper ceremonial thing to say goodbye to her? And you still said cremate her. That seems to me like an FU. I ain't spending one dime on this girl. That seems a bit odd, right? It seems a bit calloused, y'all. That's callous as hell. And if it is a thing where it was his way of saying F you to her, that is diabolical, in my personal opinion. And yet he's still up there going, I swear Micah was so, she really touched my heart. I'm just going to put up another photo, put up the other photo. That kind of stuff. I saw the sermon. I saw it. I saw that BS. Just saying. Cremator, bye. I don't know. What if she really did not want to be, what if she really wanted to be buried, guys? That's another question I'd love to have answered by the family. Would they know? Because here's the thing. If he couldn't afford it to do a proper burial, you know, the casket, the plot, do the whole funeral and everything, because that is expensive. I will be real. That's expensive as hell. Okay? Shoot, a casket. Oh, my Lord. Have mercy. Okay? A even decent one is pretty wild. Okay? It's like buying a used Camry. Okay? He's like, what? How much for this? Holy God. Okay? But still, you don't think he could have just turned to the family, to his extended family, and say, hey, let's start a GoFundMe, or let's start something. Raise some money really quick so that we can say goodbye to her properly. And then we could do the ceremony and all that and bury her properly. He didn't even allow that to happen. That option wasn't even there. He just said cremate her, and they did it. And that's it. Seconds later, they're doing they're doing a celebration of life. Oh, it's so sad. This whole thing is sad. Very, very sad, y'all. All right. Let me continue. Let us continue. Okay. So there's some interesting stuff that's been going on over the past couple of days. One of these things did catch my eye, and I thought it was weird. Actually, no, not that part. Let me just show you guys a little bit of this.
Worshiping and enjoying, and I hadn't even had time to look down here yet. But I got this lay next to her body and spent down with her body about 4 times this week, and each time it still didn't hit me. I thought she was going to wake up. You know, I even tried to raise her from the dead one time this week, and that morning actually I went to the mall later to bought me this dog tag, and the chain broke, so I went to the mall to get it fixed. And I saw a female about 20, 30 feet in front of me, and she was wearing one of Micah's dresses, and she had the same tattoo Micah has on her arm and the exact same hair. And out of just instinct, I screamed, Micah! And the girl turned around, and it was one of her sisters. And I thought I raised her from the dead. She's alive, you know.
What's interesting is the same sister that is not at this celebration of life, not at this ceremony. So why you even putting her name in your damn mouth? That's what I'd like to know. Oh, I was at the mall and I saw her, you know, I was going to get a new chain because of my dog tags, and looked just like my wife, just looked just like Micah. And it was her sister. Whoa. How was the exchange of what was the conversation like? Was there an exchange of words, or did you just hide at the food court? Just saying. Just saying. It's weird, guys. It's really, really weird. All right. Let me grab these real quick. For some odd reason, something's glitching, but I'm going to do this. Melly, thank you so much. Cremation to avoid second autopsy. Man, it just is so very odd to me. Okay. So very odd to me. Another one. Thank you so much, Vols. Thank you so much. Love the attention and details you give to cases. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm just an inquisitive mother lover, just like everybody else, right? And with this case, I got a lot of questions. Now, there's something I do want to share with you guys. This is a video that allegedly it's sometime last week. I don't have the timeline. I'm sorry, guys, but sometime last week, this dude, Pastor JP, had like a mental breakdown, and it's like he just fell out of his car, out of his truck. It's the most interesting thing I've seen in a very, very long time. And I want to share this with you guys because we do need to talk about it. Okay. But I want to share with you guys just a little bit of this. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. It's tough to watch no matter what, regardless if you like him or not. It's just, let's take a look at this though.
You all right, man? You okay? Huh? You okay? What's the matter? Huh? What's the matter?
Switch my medication. Makes me go crazy.
Yeah. Is somebody helping you?
I think Mark's coming to get me.
Oh, okay.
I thought I was going to see Jesus.
Okay. But you got Mark coming?
Somebody called him, I think.
Okay.
Okay, that's enough to see. All right. Now, I want to say, let me just say this really quick. All right. Because I gotta sit on the fence on this too. Okay. Because obviously I feel some type of way about all of this. All right. But we're going to talk about both sides of the fence. First, we're going to talk about what I naturally feel in my bones. You got to be kidding me with this nonsense. This guy is full on trying to do something to make it seem like something that it's not. Oh, I need you guys to pity me. I need you guys to feel sorry for me. That's instantly what I think in my head when I see this. Now, that this is one, yes, Nicole B, like this is one big old performance. Okay? Instantly, because of everything that we've learned, everything that we've talked about, all that stuff, I'm like, miss me with this nonsense, bro. Come on. Blah. I just threw up in my mouth a little bit. But let me just say this, though, too. Let's hop on the other side, because instantly, that's already it. I know that a good portion of us all feel the same way, right? About what we're seeing here. But then we got to look at the other side. He is in a world of trouble right now. Not only did his estranged wife lose her life, he is getting not only public ridicule, but also internet streets are set on fire. Every path he tries to go down is just nothing but fire and brimstone. See what I did there? But he's going through hell, literally right now, in every angle that he can think of. So I can see, this is during his first divorce. This is somebody saying this is from his first divorce. Now, here's what's interesting. Thank you so much for the correction, if that's the case. If this is from his first divorce, because even when I look at the truck itself, I'm like, this looks a little bit old, right? The truck. It doesn't look like his current truck. He's got like this blue truck, but apparently he's changed out his truck again too. I don't know. Okay. But Sage Warrior, thank you so much. Okay. This is from several years ago. He's reportedly in his ex's front yard after their breakup. Okay. This is before Micah. Okay. Thank you so much for that correction. Now, regardless, he done a very stupid thing. Like, no matter what, if we shift it over to his first wife, to his first relationship, and it all goes to crap, right? And I appreciate the correction. Is this You made the bed. If you've been out here gallivanting, then you've been out here gallivanting. And I get it that maybe his career was on the line and the streets probably, the congregation was side-eyeing him at that time from what we heard in other reports and all that. With this, now that I understand the full context of this, doesn't matter. You made the bed, you might as well lie in it. But then again, I also understand there's the other side of things, the public ridicule, people side-eyeing him and all that, and he hasn't gotten a chance to speak his side. I get it. This is like rock bottom for any person. But I still lean on the side of it's your bed. You made your bed. You better lie on it because you made that bed. And for me, yeah, there's a part of you that goes, oh, I feel bad for him because it's terrible going through a divorce. I'm sure I've never been, but I can only imagine that being a tough situation. But when you're out here cheating on your wife countless times, even way before you guys were even married, and you still are going out there gallivanting like that, yo, come on. Okay, it's bad. Wait. Sage says, it still shows a major pattern of serious problems for many years. Very relevant. Exactly, Sage. Exactly. I agree 100%. Okay, this shows a pattern for sure. And let's not forget, this was a pattern of his going out, cheating, gallivanting, doing his thing. Then when the wife finally first wife said, I had enough, I'm done. That's when he's like, oh, my life is over. You knew this was coming, man. You knew this was coming. You knew this was coming. So why act so devastated when you knew was coming comes? I'm just saying. Okay. But thank you so much for that correction. I was like, that looks like the truck he's driving is a different shade and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah, April is like, you ruined your own life, man. Come on, bro. You know what I mean? That would have been too funny, Nicole B. If the sprinklers just turned on out of nowhere, that would have been insane. Okay? That would have been insane. Okay? Yeah, he's just putting on a show, trying to make it seem like, I'm innocent. Sorry, I'm just not feeling it, okay? I'm just not. Let's see. So let me play this for you guys too. News Nation.
I want to stop here and bring in News Nation's national correspondent, Rich McHugh. He knows a lot about these cases and how to investigate them. You may not know this, but Rich McHugh was Ronan Farrow's producer when they broke the Harvey Weinstein story. Okay, so Rich, the biggest issue has been all along the police reports about Micah saying that she was being harassed by someone repeatedly. Someone had put razors in her tire, a deflation device, a tracking device, had chased her from a gas station to a car dealership, and the name was redacted. And tonight you have information about that redacted name. Who is it?
Well, we're going to show you a piece of video in just a moment, Ashley. First, some context, though, is that you gave some of it. Ashley, we FOIA'd these police documents. There's about a dozen of them. And this one document from March 11th paints a picture. And if we have video of that police document, I want to quote from it. So when we see the actual video, we can make sense of it. In the police document, the police officer writes that he was at East Coast Honda in Myrtle Beach in reference to harassment, that Micah was getting her tire fixed after it was slashed, that she told the officer the tracking device was on her car, that the suspect showed up, quote, she told him to go away, but she does not want to talk. And then when she pulled out her phone to record, he sped off. The victim said he leaves and comes back. That appears to be the moment we're about to show you. Roll the tape if we have it.
Walk away.
I'll show you the pictures.
Do you want to go to jail?
They'll be on Facebook in a few hours.
Alrighty,
Wow.
you'll be in jail in a few hours. Walk away.
Like, this is insane. Okay. That is him. That ain't a PI. That ain't, you know what I mean? That be him, babies.
Now, that moment it's a window into everything that we've kind of been guessing between these two, the struggles that they've been having for the previous 2 years, it sounds like. But in the weeks leading up to her death, there were multiple police reports. And this was one of those contentious days where police were called twice. And this video kind of shows the nature of the relationship in that very moment. Now, it's worth saying, he has not been charged with anything.
No.
Police have ruled this a suicide. So this is just context for an extremely troubled relationship, actually.
Now, let me tell you, when you see footage like this, dude coming out here just going like, oh yeah, you know, it's gonna be on Facebook really soon. Just you wait. You're gonna see it on Facebook. Are we seeing a pattern here? Like somebody just mentioned earlier. I think Sage said it earlier. We're seeing a pattern, right? Ain't that a pattern? Ain't that part of it? He already admitted to posting photos, very unthinkable, like just very private, spicy photos, or at least one spicy photo of her online. Then he's like, oh yeah, you know, this stuff's going to be online. You know, you're about to see this on YouTube. Come on. This is a pattern, y'all. Straight up. This is a pattern. And that is not good. Okay? Teresa J just said he forced her to do everything. He forced her to do everything in her life. He controlled everything. Someone else just said, and I don't know if this is true, but that's interesting. Lynn just said he had her get breast implants. Interesting. That's very interesting as well. But still, no matter what, I'm wondering why, right? If she's, you know, beautiful just the way you are, then why would you sit there and say, I need you to, you know, get yourself stuffed up and all that? Now, don't get me wrong, ladies, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do, but you do it on your own merit, not because your man's said, oh, no, you need to do this. Or I just don't find you attractive. I don't find you attractive. Okay? I need you to upgrade. What? But like I said, this is a pattern of somebody who's extremely controlling, and this is a dangerous individual. That's just what I think. He's already admitted to having people follow her around. He was calling them PIs, but those aren't PIs. Private investigators are not supposed to be just out here like that. Oh, just so you know, I'm out here following you. No, they're supposed to be lurking in the background, investigating privately. That's what they're supposed to be doing, isn't it? Isn't that part of their job? That's what they get paid the big bucks, especially the good ones. That's what they get paid the big bucks for, right? To keep it quiet, but to get information by any means necessary. But he's having people out here apparently harassing her for ish and giggles, flattening her tires, putting tracking devices on her car, or even her, apparently she said another family member's car as well. That's weird. That's not right. Again, we are seeing countless things where we see a pattern of we see a pattern of someone who is extremely controlling, extremely manipulative, on one individual, let alone a whole congregation. We've seen footage of him talking to his own congregation in such a way about his own wife. This ain't some of his buddies watching the game at the local bar where he can talk candidly to them and speak his mind about the trials and tribulations of his relationship with his wife. No, This is in front of his whole congregation at his job. His whole job is to lead. His whole job is to show this is how you are a good husband. This is how you should act as a good spouse. You do not speak ill on your spouse in front of a congregation, for crying out loud. You just don't. Shoot, let alone your buddies. If that's the problem, that's when you go into couples counseling. Real talk. I honestly, and maybe this is just me talking crazy, but I don't think it's healthy for you to be out here unless you can confide in that one person, right? And you're speaking to them about what's going on with them. You still are trying to step forward and looking at your spouse with respect, nothing but respect. You don't go out here and you talk mess on your wife or your husband. You do not. That is not how you conduct things out here. That's just not how it's done. Even if you're frustrated with your wife, even if you're frustrated with your husband, your spouse, your partner, there's still a way of getting your point across to your friend that you're maybe confiding in without being disrespectful, without making your spouse look like a fool, without embarrassing not only just her, but yourself. There's ways of doing things and seeking help and seeking guidance or seeking advice without throwing somebody under the doggone bus. And this is exactly what he's doing, at least from the things that we've seen in these sermons and whatnot. He's turning to his congregation like it's his best friend. But on top of that, instead of him actually speaking with respect to his wife, when he speaks on his wife, he's he's speaking ill of his wife. That's not a good spouse. That's not a good partner. That's not how you're supposed to be conducting yourself out here in these streets. That's just what I truly believe. Now, I could be wrong. Okay? I could be wrong. And to each their own. How you want to live your life and how you want to speak on your spouse and all that, that's on you. But I do see a lot of times people feeling like they have they feel like they have the right because they're the spouse and he ain't going nowhere, she ain't going nowhere type of thing, that they feel like they can speak how they want to their friends or whatever, or whenever that spouse leaves the room, that's when they're talking ill. Nah, that's not how you do things, guys. It's not. That's your partner. That's your life partner. There should always be respect on the table, even when that spouse is nowhere to be seen or heard. It's the energy that you put out here too. And this guy is doing it in front of thousands. He's speaking ill on his wife in front of thousands. Do you understand that? Let me also tell you this too. Now, I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor or anything like that. Okay? I'm not. But I do understand that relationships are hard. Marriage is hard. Relationships are not easy. It doesn't even matter if it's platonic or it's romantic. Relationships are hard. They're hard to maintain. They're hard to, sometimes it can be really hard to communicate and all that. That's just life. But if you are a pastor out here and you're doing everything you can to speak about you're using an example in your sermon, there are ways to get your point across without actually saying, my wife does this, this, and this. There's ways to relate to your congregation or to relate to your listeners without putting it all out there for everyone to hear, putting all your dirty laundry out there. They are not there to be your psychiatrist or psychologist or therapist. They're there to speak or to hear you preach the word and give them guidance as they walk out those doors to fight another week of hell, to avert from sin, to be supportive of their spouses, to be a good father or mother or a good partner, parent, whatever you want to call it. Life is hard out here in these streets. The last thing they want to hear is a pastor telling them about their problems, their own problems. That's not how you do things, guys. It's not. At least in the God business, that's not how you do it. They're supposed to leave feeling uplifted, not shocked, like, can you believe that Pastor JP just said what? He said she took all this money and did what? She's doing this, this, and this. She said what? No, that's not how you do it. And you're putting this out all on display for everyone to hear, including the people that are watching on the live streams. That's reckless. And in this particular situation, it's diabolical. So guys, here it is. I want to let you guys know something. So tonight, just so you guys know, because I'm wrapping up the show here, okay? And I appreciate everybody being here and being a part of the conversation. I do want to let you guys know I will be doing a live show tonight with Sebastian Rogers' dad, Seth Rogers, and with Tony Mathis. There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot that's been going on since the last time Tony and Seth were on the show. They are going to be talking. There's a lot to talk about. I'm going to tell you right now, though, we are really going to be talking about the stuff like the facts and information that we do know, or if they have any new information that they can give us pertaining to finding Sebastian. There is going to be a little, we are going to tap in for a very, very short while on all the drama that has been laid out over the past week or so since they came onto the show. But I'm telling you right now, we are going to talk about facts. We're going to hopefully hear some new information if they have new information. And hopefully we can bring some new truth behind this crazy search for Sebastian. I just want you guys to know that, because I know people are out here, some people are out for the drama. I'm telling you right here, I'm here for the facts. And in no way, shape, or form am I here to try to sling mud at anyone in any particular direction. I just want to find this kid. So I just want you to know that there will be a show tonight, and I'm going to explain this to you right now too. All right. Yes, I know, Nicole B, is still crazy that there is no press conference at all so far. 0 so far. But I do want to say this too, because I think some people were upset with the super chat thing and all that. So let me explain something. I'm going to say it in the beginning of the show tonight too. I'm going to do as many of the super chats as I can. I appreciate the super chats. Never am I unappreciative of anybody's energy and support of the show. But a few things. One, if it's a question I've already asked, I'm not answering. I'm not asking it again. I'm not going to pull it up. If I've already had that question answered, I'm not pulling up that super chat. That's number one. Number two, if there's already a super chat that's been asked and I've asked it, see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not repeating the same questions 15 million times over. Okay? I also urge you, if you can, I know some are trying to type really fast. Sometimes it's hard to understand what you're trying to say in some of these super chats. So I just urge you, because I'm going to get to as many as I can. I just urge you to please try to write it out. I understand that some people are watching from other countries and all that, but just understand, I'm going to try to read them. I'm cold reading them right then and there. And I'm trying to go through them quickly because I don't want to spend 7 hours going on just super chats. Okay? Because that's not why we're doing the show. Do you see what I'm saying? So I just want to make that abundantly clear. Okay? So I will be saying those things before our show tonight, just to make that abundantly clear for everybody as well. I'm not here to try to be rude to anyone or make anybody feel like their comments are not being looked at. Okay. It is just hard to conduct a show, ask the questions that I have that I know a lot of people are asking and wondering themselves, and also read the chat at the same doggone time. So just understand, the super chats is where I'm going to be leaning on. I know that people come in and they put in their comments. Sometimes I see something in the corner of my eye and I'll grab it and I'll throw it out as a question because I think it's viable. But given the fact that the chat goes so damn fast during those shows, there's only one way you guys can really get my attention, and it's not me trying to make some monies. I swear to God. I'm just saying it makes it a lot easier for me to filter through stuff through the super chats. The conversation goes so fast. Okay, we had 6,000 people watching it at all times in the last show. I have a feeling it's going to be just as crazy in this one as well. My mods are doing everything they can, and I'm doing everything I can, which is conduct the interview. Okay, so I just want to make sure that's abundantly clear. There will be a show tonight. I'm doing everything I can to give you guys the conversation and the information that you need in one sitting, not 15 different shows, just one sitting. And there's a lot to cover. Okay. And hopefully we get some new information. I'm praying we get some new information. And hopefully law enforcement has given them something new. Okay. And yes, the mods are fire. Okay. Fire. Okay. So just understand that. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm even talk to the guys as well. They know that their answers to all the super chats are going to be short and sweet, because I know that if we stay and we expand on every single super chat, we will never finish the show. We will be done at 7 o'clock in the morning. Okay. And unfortunately, I know that you guys have things to do, and so do I. Okay. So out of all respect, just understand we're going to do everything we can to keep this very, very concise, high and tight. There will be the super chat segment. We are going to do that after I do my interview part. Okay. And then we'll go through as many of them as we can. All right. Just want to make sure you guys know that. Now back to this though, too. By the way, interviews at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, so be on the lookout for it. Okay, so that's about 6.5 hours from now. Okay, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time is when we are going to be doing our interview. There's a lot to talk about, so get ready. We'll be going through it pretty quick. All right. Okay. Now back to this. I hope and pray that we get some new information in regards to this case. There's a lot that's going on here that gives us not a great visage on Pastor JP. Now, my question is, will the family be able to find enough to really bury this mother lover with whatever criminal charges or a solid civil lawsuit? That's one thing I'm kind of curious about. And I'm also curious, will they be able to find enough to get law enforcement back up on their feet to do another proper investigation into this trial or into this case? That's one thing I'm very curious about. I'm very hopeful, okay, that they get things figured out. But at the same time, we will see, right? Only time will tell. But she's speaking from the grave. Most definitely. Okay. She's speaking from beyond, and the family is not giving up, and I commend them for it. Okay. Nancy Casanova, thank you so much. Thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate it. Wow. Oops. Sorry. But thank you so much. Okay, guys. But anyway, it is time to get going. Why does that make me think of, oh, Casanova? That was a good song back in the day. Deep cut, random deep cut. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate it. thank you so much for being here. Tonight, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be live chopping it up with Seth and Tony, talking about everything that has happened since they came onto the show. Is there an alliance anymore? Are they working with the Proudfoots? All that stuff. We're going to find that out and then some, because I know that there's been a lot of conversations as of late. We're going to break it all the way down, have that conversation, and then get to the facts. Okay? So I appreciate all y'all. You guys are amazing. Please do me a favor. Do not forget to hit that like button down below. Please and thank you. Again, I'll be live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be on the lookout for it. The show's already set up, okay? It's already up on my page, so go look for it. It's up there, ready to go, okay? Hit that like button down below. Send those likes all the way up, please and thank you. Do not forget to crush that subscribe button. That would really, really mean a lot to me. Don't forget to hit that follow button if you're watching on Facebook, X/Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. Follow me on all those platforms as well. That would be amazing. Thank you so very much. Of course, become a member if you want to. Support the channel if you appreciate the way I tell these stories. All right, these purple lights do not pay for themselves. So please hit that join button down below or check out patreon.com/the Pascal Show. So the ticker right down below me right now as we speak. Okay. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. I'll see you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. Talk to you guys soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.